Hello, everybody. My name is Rohan Aziz, and I will be covering GMOs. To start off, what are GMOs? GMOs, or short for genetically modified organisms, is any organism whose genetic material has been altered using genetic engineering techniques. A whole lot of genes. Genetic, genetic, genetic. What are GMOs primarily used for? GMOs are primarily used for having a better yield for crops, increasing nutritional value of crops, and increasing shelf life of crops. All of these things help out farmers, everybody that buys the crops, etc. How do GMOs increase the yield of crops? GM crops, or genetically modified crops, can be resistant to diseases and herbicides. Therefore, meaning when you spray a herbicide on a GM crop, it will not be damaged. Herbicides can protect the plant from weeds, pests, and insects. There is also an example of a herbicide within the crop that is not a disease to humans, but maybe to an insect, such as a prime example of that is Bt crops found in corn. Increased nutritional value. We can genetically modify crops to have a higher nutritional value. The examples I used are the purple tomato and the golden rice. The purple tomato was genetically edited to contain a high amount of anthocyanin, which is an anti-inflammatory. Golden rice was curated to combat vitamin A deficiencies in third world countries, and golden rice was genetically modified to contain a provitamin called beta carotene, which is rich with vitamin A. Increased shelf life. There are many examples of this, but the primary example is the tomato. In a study conducted by Aftar Handa, a professor at Purdue University, it was found that when a yeast gene was added to a tomato, it increased the shelf life of it significantly and allowed it to stay fresh longer. And last, the future. Scientists are actively working on new ways to make GMOs more useful than it already is. An example of some of those things that they have been working on are genetically modified crops to adapt with climate change. Also, they have been working on making plants that absorb CO2 at a higher rate than it does already to combat climate change. They're also working on making food more tasty, potentially solving world hunger, making more foods more nutritious. These are just a few of the examples, but there are many, many more. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much.